Welcome to the Church of Corone. On this wonderful Sunday, I'm sipping some Trader Jane's Moroccan mint tea. And here we've got some wonderful, real mint leaves that I've added in there. So good. Another reason why I believe in God, the Magnus Opus Creator, because of these guys, these herbs, this mint, this rosemary, two very distinct, different herbs that could not have on their own created their shape, their smell, their taste, all the healing properties. That's again why I really, because they're creating healing properties for us somehow. They know what we need. Anyway, mint and rosemary, very medicinal for you. Please eat it. And think of it as God's love for you when you do. All right, so, and again, these guys have been around prior to the Bible. And again, that's why I believe in God, not because of the Bible, but because of live food for you and me, I think is the best way to see and receive God's love. So this morning I woke up and I saw this movie, Nonfiction. It's a French film by Olivier Assayas. He also did Personal Shopper with Kristen Stewart and Clouds with Juliette Binoche and Kristen Stewart. He obviously likes working with these two actors because Juliette is in this film, Nonfiction, and she's fabulous. Mwah, just love her. There are no words. She's just amazing. Oh, amazing. So this film, I had to see it, of course, because as these films do, they come out and they come and go so fast. And of course, they aren't in the main theaters. I have to go to the artsy film places like the Laemmle. And so 10:40 was the only time it was playing today. Hello, and then it's gone. So I drove kind of fast on the freeway to get there to see the film, realizing halfway there that I had forgotten my phone. Dear God, how does one forget one's phone? I mean, it's the end of the world. What am I going to do? Oh my God, what if someone's trying to call me? What if I need to call someone? What if I get in an accident? Okay, now I wish I hadn't had that thought, because in the next few seconds as I'm on the freeway, the guy or gal in front of me starts braking. Okay, so I'm braking, but then they full on brake. Okay, now I am headed to their trunk very quickly, and thank God, it all happens so fast. Accidents, it's so crazy. It got out of the way, but lo and behold, when it got out of the way, I realized why it was braking. There was a huge mattress on the freeway. Hello? Who leaves their mattress on the freeway? Okay, so the earth is not your trash can. I raised my daughter with that phrase. I couldn't stand it when I see people smoking their cigarettes and popping them out of their car windows. Really, find a trash can. Keep it in your car in some kind of holder until you can find a trash can. People drinking their big gulps or whatever it is and tossing them out the window. Really? Who is there you think is going to pick it up? Anyway, I don't know. Someone tossed their mattress out. It wasn't funny at the time because I was like, dear God, well, what's going to happen? I don't have my cell phone and this is going to be a bad accident, because I could see in my rearview mirror cars coming at me. So I swerved, everything is split second. Of course, I'm swerving into the car next to me. Thank God it was able to swerve into the next lane, and then I got around this thing. But that was a harrowing, experience there on the freeway as I was headed to the film. And I thought, okay, is this a bad omen? Maybe I should be stopping, turning around, going to get my cell phone. But then I really wanted to see this film. Now, this is kind of comedy because this film is all about the cell phone and readers and texters online. So how writing has changed with our cell phone, how texting has changed. Sort of texting now is sort of seen as the haiku of our times, some say. So this nonfiction film is all about the literary field and how books are becoming, obviously, ebooks online and how you can read them on your computer, on your cell phone. And so we don't have the actual hardcover paperback book anymore, that tactile experience to hold. So it's a film about these changes. It's because the French are very verbal and they want to talk a lot about philosophy and art and literature. This film presents that even between the bed sheets with couples. And of course, obviously it's a French film. There's lots of affairs going on. And so it's a charming film in the sense of we have these opposing characters who are wanting the book, the tactile book, versus that's all going to be obsolete and everything needs to go online now. Everything needs to be digital. And that's just the way it is. And there is a great quote in the film that talks about you need change in order for things to stay the same. And it goes full circle from the starting place of the discussion of are real books viable as opposed to everything being an ebook, to then a publishing company. Are they going to sell? Or are they going to stay? Are they going to keep publishing hardcovers, paperbacks? So it was an interesting premise. And I just thought it was really funny because I was having this whole debate in my head about my cell phone. And you have to understand, when I was younger, first learning to drive, we didn't have cell phones. I know I'm dating myself, but so, you know, I used to drive without a cell phone and it was no big deal because I had no idea that I was missing a cell phone because I had no cell phone. We didn't know about cell phones. So it's just funny how we now are living in a society where we feel, you know, practically naked without our cell phones. We feel exposed. We feel vulnerable. So it was intriguing how that thought process heading to the film, wondering if I should have my cell phone, if I should go back and get it, versus this film all about the publishing industry and literature and where it's headed, and the people involved in it. So we've got the publishers, we've got the writer, and then we've got the people that are in their lives, who, Juliette Binoche, she's an actor married to one of the publishers, and he does a great job in this film as well, Kane. And then there's, because of these affairs that are going on that are all sort of intertwined with the characters, that also creates interesting storylines as well in the film, as you can imagine. Oh, those French. You know, I'm part French. And years ago, my mother, when I was going to France, she wanted me to go to a library and research something about our family history, you know. And so when I went there, because I wasn't speaking fluent French, didn't matter if I was French, it's a moot point now. I mean, that was a long time ago, so maybe now, with all of this internet and globalization, the French are better. But I know they have a lot of pride in their country and in their language. In fact, a little factoid, when I was in Israel recently in March, I learned something about the French immigrants, those who were making Aliyah to Israel. The French Jews, because anti-Semitism is on the rise in France, and so many of them are moving to Israel. But many of them are not choosing to learn Hebrew. They are sticking to their French language. OMG, I couldn't believe it. Yeah, one man, he was an immigrant from Venezuela. And he was saying that now many of the Jews in France Jews in Israel, excuse me, need to learn French in order to communicate with the French Jews who have moved to Israel. Very funny. All right, and speaking of books, this film, I just received this Recovery, Freedom from Our Addictions by Russell Brand in the mail. This man, I have to say, for an actor, a public figure as cray-cray as Russell was, he has done a 180 transformation. He now has this YouTube, I'm not sure where it is, but it's on YouTube. But you can go, it's called Under the Skin. And he interviews a whole assortment of people, just fabulous. But he is brilliant. Okay, he is absolutely brilliant. And so he was recently interviewing a female shaman. Her name is Wendy Mandy. And you can go and see her online being interviewed. He has his whole mics set up somewhere on his property. And so they come to him, and he almost looks now, he's got a very large beard, kind of like David Letterman has done this biblical transformation. Russell Brand now has this almost biblical beard type. And at one point in this interview, further on in it, he takes this cloak and wraps himself in it, and truly he looks like something out of the Hebrew Bible. So anyway, he's interviewing her, and she's talking about plants. One of the many topics that they discuss, because they're just hopping all around. And Russell Brand's brain is like just crazy, amazing, brilliant. So he's all over the place with different thoughts. And she talks about how she has these probes that she puts on her plants that are able to detect the sound coming from the plant. So she had a healthy plant that she put it on, and it had this song. Okay, it wasn't a literal word song, but these notes that were coming, this energy, because she's all about energy that's coming out of the plant, versus a plant that was dying, and it was a very low, somber notes that were coming out, like, almost pleading for water. Now, we know in nature that animals talk to each other. Elephants use the bottom of their feet. They're like drums, and they will pound the ground, and that sends reverberations out to those they know. All animals actually are communicating. We just don't know yet to what level. But I swear, every time I see an animal, I see something else in it. Like, I know there's more going on here. When I look at my cats, Vincent Van Gogh, aka Vinny, and Ringo, I'm like, wow. And each one is different. All of you who are animal lovers and who have had animals, there is no animal that is the same. There's just not. But likewise, the same thing with the plants. Okay? They are all singing their own song. And so when we consume them, we actually all have our own song. If you did not know, we do. In fact, our DNA, when you unwrap it, it actually creates a melody that's totally unique to us. You can Google that and look that up. Fascinating. Also, our blood also has a sound. Okay, so that when the Bible talks about when Cain kills Abel, and the blood cries out from the earth, that is actually true. Our blood can actually cry, but it's a cry that God hears. We'll be talking more about God in other videos, but just for a moment, think about that. And I love you. Have a fabulous Sunday. Check out nonfiction if you can, and blessings for your week.